Hello and welcome to PC Voyage. I'm Rainey Laviolette.
And I'm Andrew Doty.
PC Voyage will take you to new and familiar personal computer frontiers.
Our voyage will include demonstrations in the latest and greatest hardware and software, user profiles, and a discussion of today's computer issues.
On today's show, we have Tim Hamlet with questions and answers, Bob Clements with PC Voyage News, and Jim Dilks with Bits and PCs.
Before we begin, we'd like to take this opportunity to thank Continental Cablevision for making this show possible.
Our first guest tonight is a personal computer user, Dick Gagney, Vice President of Sales from New England Promotional Marketing in Hamden, Massachusetts. Hello, Dick.
Hello, Rainey. How you doing, Andy?
Dick, what kind of work do you do for New England Promotional Marketing?
I run promotions for various size companies throughout the southern New England area.
What kind of products do you normally sell to these companies?
Well, the products involved would be, for example, if a bank ran a promotion for their anniversary, they might purchase custom logoed buttons for the employees and a political type button with the theme of the promotion to give out to customers, and it might even have numbers on it. And they would send out street spies to see if they could spot people wearing a number, and if they catch somebody with their button and the number on it, they win $4,000. The company, the bank gets a lot of mileage out of that. The public's happy, and that's what I do for a living.
Do you have any extra of those buttons? I can always use the extra money.
For $4,000, we can arrange it.
Ooh.
What software will you be demoing this evening?
Well, the main program I use to run my sales organization is called Maximizer, and it is a sales-orientated database which helps me keep tight control on my customer database. All kinds of information I need to know about my customers, but it does not do invoicing or inventories, things of this nature.
How about a demonstration of the software?
Why, certainly, which I should have done earlier. And here it is. Now, typically what would happen is I'd get up in the morning, and having done my homework the night before, I would bring up my customer database, and here it is. And from this, I can, if I wanted to find out who the contacts were, can I back up? I'm going to back up on this. Actually, the way I would start is I would see what my appointments are. And that's today's date. And typically on that screen would be a list of my appointments, which would look similar to this. And I just hit a button on here, F2, and it would print out what I have to do for today. And incidentally, if someone has a color printer, they can print, this program prints in color. So that's, in my instance, I use real appointments in red and the things that need to do in another color. From there, I would go out and do my sales calls, but actually, let me back up a little. I might need to make some phone calls to some of these people that are on the appointment list. So, this program will make phone calls for you. For example, let's say I wanted to call this individual right here. I would simply scroll down to him, hit F6, up comes a telephone dialing part of the program, and as you can see here, I've got 4 different numbers: the main number, fax, car, the guy's car phone, and home phone. So I'm going to it's now 8 o'clock in the morning. I know the man's on his way to work. I should be able to reach him in the car. Hit enter once, hit enter twice, and is now dialing the phone. The man will answer the phone, and as soon as he answers the phone, I go down to notes. I'm into the database for this customer, and as I'm talking to him on the phone, Sam says, yeah, make sure you see me instead of 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and he had an accident this morning, so I make a note of that, and he's going to do a promotion in a month from now, but he doesn't want me to talk to him about it today, and I make a note of that. When I'm finished talking to him, I hang up, I save what I've done with him on the phone today. I now have notes, and by the way, the clock is running on this. And I just go back here, and it asks me, right here, the results of this conversation. So I put down satisfactory. We'll be seeing him at 9:30 instead of 8 rather. And when I go back to here, the phone hangs up, I'm sorry, the clock stops, and not only do I have a record of what I said to the man, what I need to do for today with him, but I also know how long I talked on the phone. And that's important because some companies using this type of program charge by the minute when they're talking to you on the phone. That's not my case, but that could be the situation. Typically now what would happen is I'd go on my appointments, make all my phone calls, come back to the office at night, and then I would take my appointment sheet and mostly by memory, sometimes handwritten notes that I would do on the sheet. I would go to scroll down to the customer I saw that day, bring up his database. Now this is the database for a particular company, in this case Johnson Controls Systems. But I don't deal with brick and mortar, I deal with a customer, so I go to the contacts that are within this company, and it brings up, well, in this case we don't have any contacts. I happen to know there's some here. And I'm going to go right to the contacts. And I deal with these 3 different individuals within this company, and I did deal with the middle fellow today. So I bring up his database, and now I go to notes for this individual. And normally I would be able to bring up a very simple word processor for that customer and type in the net results of what I've done with this customer today. And this I would do times how many people I saw today and every contact I made. So now the advantage of this is, next time I've got to go see Mr. Baker, I will then bring up his record, go to the notes section. It will tell me that I did discuss this, that, and that with him, and I'll be refreshed on what I need to say with them. In fact, for example, it's typical for me to enter in this type of, in this program, he may have had a daughter who had a broken leg that week, and I'll remember to ask him how his daughter is when I get back home. Yes?
Dick, how long have you been using this program?
As a matter of fact, I registered the program with the company on March 12th, 1991. It's almost a year.
Would you consider this program easy to use?
No, unless you've got a lot of time to devote yourself to it. No, it's not easy. I don't recommend it for someone who's not going to use it a lot on a daily basis. That way it is easy to use because you do get used to it, but I'll tell you why I'd rather see it laid out a little differently.
You said you can use the computer to call the client. Will the computer redial the client if the number's busy?
It absolutely will. By the way, in having the computer dial the client, you need to have a modem for the computer to do it. But this program is set up in such a way that once you bring up that telephone segment of the program, you can manually dial it if you don't have a modem, because not everybody does have a modem.
Thank you, Dick. For anybody that would like to find out more about the Maximizer, it's available from Richmond Technologies in British Columbia, Canada. Their phone number is 604-299-2121, and it sells for about $320.
After you see this trivia question, we will have Bob Clements with PC Voyage News.
Here are this week's computer trivia questions. Number 1. What does the CEO of Microsoft Corporation and the richest person in America have in common? And where does the word nerd come from?
Welcome back.
You know, Andy, I feel as though this trivia question is probably going to be the hardest one we're ever going to have on this show. And I don't think that these people deserve to hear this again.
Well, Rainey, you know, it's nice to see that you can even screw that up.
Oh yeah, I can try it again. Watch. That one went better, I say.
And now, Bob Clements with the news.
Hello, I'm Bob Clements, and I'm here to bring you PC Voyage News. In this segment, I'll endeavor to bring you up-to-the-minute news and information on the latest developments in hardware, software, and the world of electronic innovation. Now that color monitors have become routine and all the software we use seems to look so good, the quest is on to bring us color in smaller, more portable machinery. Compaq Computer says sales of its color transportable PC have exceeded its wildest dreams. The great customer response for the Compaq Portable 486C reaffirms our market research indicating significant ongoing demand for a high-performance, full-function portable computer, says Compaq Computer President and CEO Eckhard Pfeiffer. The Compaq Portable 486C is an AC-powered ESA-based system. It uses a 33 megahertz 80486 microprocessor and an active matrix color screen. It costs approximately $10,000. Now, if you're looking for something a little smaller, Dell Computer is putting the final touches on a Dell System 325NC, its first color notebook computer. The new Intel 386SL-based system with 4 megs of RAM is supposed to reach customers in February. This computer will sell for $39.99 with a 60 meg hard drive or $42.99 with an 80 meg hard drive. If you need something a little bit faster, AST Research says its new Advantage NB-SX25 will be the fastest notebook PC available to buyers through retail outlets. The system boasts a NiCad battery pack good for 3 hours of continuous use and a rapid charge AC adapter charger. It also comes equipped with a 3.5-inch floppy drive, 4 megs of memory, a 2400-bit modem, and an 8.5-inch VGA screen. It weighs 7.3 pounds. It's not color, but it's quick. 5050 Microelectronics has developed PC Vision, a plug-in card that transforms your PC into a full-screen TV. Can't you just see every employer making sure there's one of these on every desk? And now for those of you who don't have an employer but would like to get one, Spinnaker Software says its new job search program can provide meaningful help to PC users who have recently become unemployed. PFS Resume and Job Search Pro is a DOS-compatible application that organizes the entire job-seeking process. It provides a full-featured word processor with mail merge that helps users create effective resumes and cover letters, even on dot matrix printers. An appointment manager helps users organize their contact network and interviews. A built-in interview tips tutorial prepares job seekers for upcoming interviews. PFS Resume and Job Search Pro is scheduled to become something at some point in time. Ran out of story. Now, for those of you with 286-based systems, I have some bad news. The Multimedia PC Council recently opted to drop 80286-based systems from its list of accepted multimedia platforms. The MPC says the 286s are rapidly losing popularity and lack the power to adequately run multimedia applications. As a result of the move, the base MPC approved system is a 16 megahertz 386 SX-based PC. To receive an MPC seal, a multimedia system must also include at least 2 megs of memory, a 30 meg hard drive, a CD-ROM drive, digital sound support, and Microsoft's multimedia extensions for Windows. And last but not least, it seems the U.S. government has already engaged in germ warfare. U.S. News and World Report says that several weeks before the Persian Gulf War, the U.S. government intentionally placed a computer virus in Iraqi computers. This germ warfare plan was developed by the NSA at Fort George Meade, Maryland. The operation involved placing a virus-generating chip inside a printer that was eventually smuggled from Amman, Jordan, to a military facility in Baghdad. By attacking the computers from the printer, the virus escaped detection by normal electronic security measures, says the magazine. And that's it for PC Voyage News.
Thanks, Bob. And now for the query answer of the day.
Here are this week's computer trivia answers. Number 1. The CEO of Microsoft Corporation and the richest person in America are the same person. Bill Gates. Number 2. Nerd comes from a book by Dr. Seuss.
Boy, Rainey, you're right. That is a difficult trivia question.
You know, going back to Bob Clements' news, you know, Saddam Hussein really could have used a good computer consultant to solve his virus problems.
I agree.
Next up, actually now, Tim Hamlet with the questions and answers.
Thank you, Rainey and Andy. Hi, and welcome to the question and answer segment of our program. This being our first show, I'm going to try to answer the first question that most people have when they enter the market for a computer system, and that is, what kind of a computer should I buy? With the myriad of computers available on the market today, this can be a very difficult question to answer. I think that before you ask that question, you should ask yourself two other very important questions. What am I going to use the computer for, and how much money am I willing to spend? Once you answer these questions, you will have greatly narrowed down the number of systems that you will need to look at. When you walk into the computer store, you are bombarded with what seems to be an endless stream of numbers and alphabet soup. 8088s, 8086s, 286, 386, 486, monos, CGAs, MCGAs, EGAs, VGAs, SVGAs, and a lot more. But you should learn what these things mean because they are going to help you answer those two important questions. The numbers 8088, 8086, 286, 386, and 486 represent the most popular microprocessing chips on the market today. The microprocessor is the brain of the computer, and over the years, improvements in technology have allowed these chips to become faster in their operation. The first home computer that IBM produced used the Intel 8086 chip, but proved to be too expensive for most people. The next model, the IBM PC, the first truly affordable computer for the home, was powered by the 88 chip. IBM then put the 8086 chip in their next line of computers, the XT, which stands for Extended Technology. This chip was eventually replaced by the 286. The 386 and the 486 are placed in the IBM ATs, or Advanced Technology machines, each of these being faster than its predecessor. If you're going to be running complicated programs or programs with a lot of math involved, then you will most likely need one of the faster models with a 386 or 486 chip. Also, if you are going to run any of the popular games that are out on the market today, then you will probably want at least a 286 machine, as the 8088 and the 8086 machines run much too slow for these games to run properly. Another factor that comes into play is how much RAM, or random access memory, that you want in your computer. When you run a program, the main part of the program is placed into the RAM memory and performs its functions from there. So check out the software you want to use and find out how much RAM memory they need to run. The type of programs you will run will also determine what kind of monitor to purchase. If you run programs with lots of graphics or pictures, such as games, computer-aided drawing, or painting programs like PC Paintbrush, then you will want a color monitor with a high resolution. By resolution, I mean how sharp the images are on the monitor. The most popular monitors right now are called VGA, which stands for Video Graphics Array. And these monitors can produce a very high-quality picture with over 200,000 shades of colors. As you step down to EGA and CGA, the monitors have less color and less resolution. If you only want to do word processing, for example, then a single color monochrome monitor is probably all you will need. Now, as you move from the 8088 to the 486 chip, the price of the machine goes up. 8088 machines, being ancient by computer standards, can now be bought for as little as $400, while some 486 machines can run into the tens of thousands of dollars. But there are many medium-priced machines to choose from. 386 machines, now considered the standard entry-level machine with lots of RAM memory, can be bought for as little as $1,200. Check out computer fairs or flea markets. I've seen some incredible systems at unbelievably low prices. In conclusion, first find out what you want to do with your computer, how much RAM memory the programs you want will use, and what resolution and amount of colors you want on your monitor screen, and of course your cache limit. And I think you'll have a much easier time choosing your computer. For PC Voyage's Questions and Answers, and I'm Tim Hamlet.
Thanks, Tim. A couple of questions that I had while you were going through your types of computers. What processor would you recommend for a home computer?
Right now, I personally would not buy anything less than a 386. The other machines are rapidly becoming obsolete.
What's the average amount of RAM? What's the base amount that you want to have in those computers?
Well, with the applications that they're coming out with today, such as Windows, it's advisable to have at least 2 to 4 meg of RAM in your machines now, because Windows, which is very popular, eats up a lot of memory.
Well, thanks a lot again, Tim. Next up, Jim Dilks will be here explaining in his Bits and PC segment what a computer virus is.
If you have any questions for Tim, or if you have any comments about the show, please write to us. Our address is PC Voyage, P.O. Box 6295, Holyoke, Massachusetts, 01041.
Welcome back.
Rainey, I get a popular question. Can you get viruses from your computer?
Well, I've never gotten one myself, except through friends' diskettes. And I've never gotten an actual sickness. It's not like you can get the flu or something. A computer virus is something that our next guest is going to be talking about. And he is Jim Dilks, who's bringing you the next edition of, or our first edition of, Bits and PCs. Jim.
Good evening. Anyone who has a computer has noticed lately on the news that there is a new virus on the loose. It's called Michelangelo. What it does to your computer is, supposedly on the March 6th, the computer will reformat its hard drive. These computer viruses have been around for a few years now, and the way they work is, if you get you may be able to pull them off a bulletin board. People give you software. You also can get them, well, basically through your floppy, through bulletin boards. What they do to your machine is, basically they start tearing up your programs. They, I'm not doing too well on this one.
Keep going, you're doing fine.
Anyways, yeah, they multiply themselves. Some of the viruses actually act like real viruses. How they work is, once they infect the machine, they start to reprogram themselves into different entities so that they're hard to trace. Some viruses are, I really should have gone into this more.
Keep going.
I'm choking on it.
Keep going.
I lost it.
Keep going. We don't have a floor director. You got to keep going. Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
So what kind of different kinds of viruses are there out there?
Well, there are several viruses right at the moment. There's the Israeli virus, I guess it's called, the Stone virus, and there's Michelangelo, and they do different things to different machines, to your machine differently. Some of them infect the boot sector of the disk. Some of them infect the partition table. And some of them, they just generally tear up your linkage between your programs.
Jim, do you have first-hand experience with this Michelangelo virus?
Yes, I do. I happen to have acquired this Michelangelo virus. And I was given to me by a friend who downloaded it off a bulletin board.
Is it something that I think most people have to worry about?
Yes, it is.
I mean, is it that common that you've got to make sure that you don't have it?
True. There are several programs out on the market right at the moment to eradicate these viruses. Central Point, Virus Scan. There are some shareware products out there that will scan your hard drive and look for these viruses. And how they work is once you run them, they'll identify the virus and ask you if you want to either delete it or eradicate it or just leave it alone. Some of the programs also scan your boot directory to make sure it hasn't changed recently. Every time you boot your system, it checks against the boot sector to make sure the boot sector hasn't changed. It also checks some of your programs that are basic in your machine, like your system operating programs, to see if they've changed. And if they have, they warned you, and you can shut down and either reboot your machine off of a clean disk and fix it.
Well, thanks, Jim. And I hope most people don't end up with this virus on March 6th. And
Yes.
with Friday the 13th, the week after, you got to make a little bit more sure. You got to make more sure,
Right.
or be extra careful, I guess is the right word.
There is one way around this. If a person has no way of eradicating the virus at the moment, what they can do is they can go ahead and change their date ahead of the day for Friday.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Dick Gagney from NEPM, Tim Hamlet for question and answers, Bob Clements with PC Voyage News. I'm Randy Doty.
I'm Rainey Laviolette. Stay tuned next week for more PC Voyages.